What's up, world? This is WeNeeda5th. It's your man Mo. Got my man P in the building. Got my man Hill in the building.
Yo,
Fellas, free agency, the off season is full. It's in full swing. Has some big signings, big trades. Of course, we had the Kevin Durant to Houston trade. That's still being worked out as far as what the final trade is going to look like, as far as how many other teams may be involved with this trade. But so far, Houston got Kevin Durant for Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and first round draft pick in a couple of seconds so far. Houston also signed Clint Capella from the Atlanta Hawks. And I believe they made one more signing or trade.
I believe they re-signed Steven Adams.
Yes.
So
you got Dorian Finney, right?
And
Dorian
yes,
Finney-Smith.
and they signed Dorian Finney-Smith from from the Lakers. Wow. We also, on the East Coast, the New York Knicks. Finally, it seems like they finally got their coach, Mike Brown, former coach of Sacramento Kings, Cleveland Cavaliers, just to name a few. I believe 2-time coach of the year, Mike Brown.
He didn't get fired right after.
Yeah, I believe in both locations. We also had Denver picking up Bruce Brown. They also traded Michael Porter Jr. For campaign. Cam Johnson, excuse me. I don't know why I got campaign on it.
That'd be a horrible trade if that was the case. Terrible trade. But yeah, Cam Johnson. They got Valanciunas too.
Okay. DeAndre Ayton signed with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wait, sorry. Denver got Valanciunas? Ooh. That's a sneaky good pickup. That's a sneaky good pickup. DeAndre Jordan ain't it at this stage.
Yeah, no, that's an upgrade if that's the case. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't know. That was...
Yeah.
I think Dame Lillard was waived by the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks picked up Miles Turner.
Re-signed Portis.
Wow.
Portis, Kevin Porter Jr.
Which one?
Some other guys.
Kyle Kuzma is still there. What?
It's going to be tough sledding.
While we're on Milwaukee, do you think they're doing enough to keep Giannis there? With what we know Giannis to be, and what I'm assuming Giannis to be, and I may be totally off on this, but I'm assuming Giannis to be a throwback to the old school days of, hey, Milwaukee is the team that drafted me. I want to stay here. I want to make it work here. I don't want to have to look for another team to make it work or to be a contender. I want the organization that drafted me to support me and put me in position to be a contender. I'd rather fight that struggle than request a trade. Having said that, do you think they've done enough to ease his mind, to get him off that fence of, hey, even thinking about going in to request a trade?
I think they did a bad job. I think they did a bad job for a couple of years now, actually. I parallel them to a gorge spender. Like, you know, you need checks and balances when you're doing things, but you feel the best way to come out of your situation is to spend more instead of alleviating the problem. They had a championship team. I thought they should never got rid of Drew Holiday. I don't know why they went for Dame. No, I mean, some upgrades aren't meant for your team. Sometimes you fit perfectly with your team. I never liked their two guard, and they won the championship. And regardless, despite playing Connaughton and Iffy Middleton. You know what I mean? I think if you tweak those spots and kept Holiday and kept an identity of defense with Portis and they all work out, I think Milwaukee would have been a sneaky maybe every other 2 years if you just tinker with it, as opposed to blowing it and getting a shiny new toy, and now you're just Miles Turner doesn't. I mean, is he better than Brook Lopez?
Yeah, I just think he's just a younger version. I think it's the same guy. I actually prefer Brook Lopez, but because he's younger, I understand. You get a younger version. But.
And speaking of Brook Lopez, he was signed by the Los Angeles Clippers, I believe.
Good move. I like backing up Zubac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a move to keep him from the Lakers, to be honest. It felt like, because the Clippers, like, the last thing they need is another front court person.
Think so?
Well, Zubac is small. He plays big, but he's small.
Yeah, besides Zubac, I don't know what else they got. Right? As far as height goes.
Yeah, they needed that move.
Yeah, I think
that or Ayton.
The Lakers. Yeah, they did play. I think it was a bonus. You know what I mean? They're not mad that they kept them away from the Lakers, but I think they both were pretty thin at that position. Lakers were thinner. But,
yeah. And speaking of the Lakers, how you like that pickup with Ayton? How you feeling about that pickup with Ayton?
I mean, if he turns into a diver to the rim with Luka.
All right.
And I think it's a good pickup.
With what you know of Ayton and how he's played his career so far, how do you feel?
They needed a big for defensive purposes. I'm okay with it for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
How it works out in the offensive end, they have work to do. I guess that's what the coaches are there for. Hope they can pattern his game, because they're not going to change to the center as opposed to the great guys. It's not Kobe and Shaq where you say, maybe I could play off of each one or just get it to the big man, let him do his work. No.
Which is funny. At once upon a time, I'm not going to mention the network, Booker and Ayton, they did make that comparison, which was bananas to me. Yeah. Yeah, so it's funny you say that. Ayton gets a lot of slack. I don't know about his work ethic and all of that.
Player.
15 and 10.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Not a bum.
Yeah.
It's styles to make fights, though. I don't see. I mean, he can change. I mean, because that's what they're gonna ask for him to play into Luka's style. Like, I think the Lakers need to start phasing out that team towards making it more so,
Luka.
Dallas, California.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recipe for success when you're dealing with Luka.
Yeah, and I think they're on that path. Whatchamacallit? I'm sure they got some more moves to make and whatnot, but I think they're getting on that path. I wonder if Ayton has that. Is he aggressive enough in those big moments?
No.
You
saw that in the finals against Milwaukee, where he looked like a deer in headlights against Giannis. So you don't want to depend too heavily on him
at all.
And to your point, that's why you would like Brook Lopez, right? Just in case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Jackson Hayes. That's rough.
That's rough. But he works with their scheme. I mean, he's a diver towards the basket for lobs, but it's not ideal.
Right. Yeah. They had him last year, and they were looking for someone to do.
They didn't play him.
His role, right? So.
Yeah. Let's come back to New York with the Mike Brown hire. How do you guys? Do you think was he the best coach available for the Knicks in the roster that they have right now?
I don't know who is anymore. We went over the Tibbs thing. Mike Brown's the defensive coach, right? And then he started, I think, and then Sacramento had like one of the highest.
He became an offensive.
Yeah, became an offensive coach. He's gonna have them have to bog down. You're talking about your 2 stars have to play some good defense now. If we can get Brunson and Towns to set an example, I think everyone should be fine. The rest of the players are decent defensive players with Bridges, OG, Hart, even Deuce, and Mitch. You just have to get your stars to really buy in, and you should be fine.
P.
It's so hard for me to judge coaches. I just go by their wins. It doesn't necessarily equate to how good of the coach they are, but I think Coach Bud and Vogel are out there. They won championships. Does that make them better coaches? Depends who you ask, right? But he has 2, Coach of the Years?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Between those 3, who's the best coach? I don't know. I don't know. I would say the 2 with the championship, but,
Fair or not, does he come into an automatic hot seat?
It's New York. I mean, he comes into a great position, though, unlike other coaches. You're not coming to a losing situation. I would take that. Like, I'm starting, I have a good base and go from there as opposed to having a high ceiling and then working, my way to it. It's like you said. I mean, not to be redundant, it's New York. It's always going to be some type of pressure.
I think like you said, it's a good, talented team that you're going to, but I think the expectations are too high. So,
where do, considering all the injuries that's going to affect next season, I'm talking about Halliburton, Tatum. Is there any other injuries, major injuries in the East that I'm missing?
Those are the 2 major ones.
Okay. And I believe, Cleveland has some injuries with Donovan and Darius and stuff like that have to work itself out. Where do we think the Knicks should fall next season as far as, where they should be, where they should end up as far as seeding?
At least the conference, 1 or 2. At least the conference finals, 1 or 2.
Wow, that's it? Hill?
Oh, all right. No, yeah. No, I got to me, it's in the finals. Boston is decimated. Not only that, decimated with injury, but they're probably going to end up losing, one of the 2 guys, either Jaylen Brown or
Horford.
Well, definitely going to lose
Derek
Horford,
White.
but Derek White. You got Porzingis in Atlanta. So they're out the mix. I mean, maybe I was thinking about maybe it's the time. I got the Knicks, but this is the time for your Detroit, Orlando, and Atlanta.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what about those young teams on
this
the cover?
This is it.
Yeah.
And where do we put the Knicks in that mix?
Oh, high.
Yeah, to me that's all those young teams are second tier. Atlanta, Detroit, what's the other team?
Orlando.
Yeah, they're second tier.
Right.
Cleveland and the Knicks. It's yours.
Yeah,
it's yours to lose. To me.
Cleveland lost Ty Jerome too. It shouldn't be that much, but they lost Ty Jerome.
They picked up someone though. I feel like they replaced him pretty quickly. I forgot who it was, but yeah, he gets buckets.
I feel like Detroit and Orlando is going to be flies in the ointment. I think, especially Detroit for me. I think Detroit feels like, a young OKC or a young Indiana East. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like the old Detroit, you know what I mean, with ripping them, you know what I mean, as far as, defensively solid, have a player that can come up in clutch time, but needs to mature.
They might have a little more talent than that old Detroit team.
And I think to your point,
more talent. Better right now. I'm like more talent.
So.
I mean, this is the year for. To me, Cade takes a step. Should take a step. You got Thompson. Aussie. You got they picked up Karras and Robinson.
Ivy coming back.
Got Ivy coming back. So, I mean, Cade is a true one and is and great for that team. But I've seen him flourish a little bit more as the two. Like instead of having to bring it up and do other things. Like once Jaden can bring it up from the front court and let Cade do what he has to do when it's past half court, it's over. Now is he the next Shea? I don't know, but he's heck of a talent though. So like I agree with you guys. The secondary tier is poised for one of those guys to really just step up because it will be Cade. What's down there in Orlando? Paolo.
And Franz. Wow.
Paolo. And they got Bane.
Yeah.
And Trae Young. How long are we gonna be playing this?
That's an interesting team.
Yeah, Kristaps.
They have talent.
Yeah, quite a bit.
They have talent.
My boy Richard Sher, Johnson.
Yeah.
I like Johnson.
Yeah, they have a good team.
They got pieces.
Will they step up?
Yeah, and can you get Trae Young to contribute a little bit, or just be solid on defense? I think that's one of the stumbling blocks for Atlanta, and what they've been trying to do since he's been drafted is so whether you want to acknowledge it or not, he's a liability on defense, and that hurts their chances to contend. Definitely.
Minimize the turnovers. But when I look up, I'm like 25-12. Really? Jeez. Minimize the turnovers. Let them translate into wins, and then I'll be impressed with Atlanta. But I love Atlanta's young.
Did we miss anybody in free agency right now that's been picked up? And where do we?
Kuminga's restricted.
Who you say?
Kuminga's restricted.
Now, what do you think's gonna happen with him? Because it looks like he's about to get screwed hard, yo.
They're killing this.
He's about to get screwed hard.
They're killing this style.
Yo, they're and I think the offer that they have on the table is like 7.9 or 7.5 million for a year. Like, come on, y'all. Really? 7.7?
And Bill might be interested in a buyout.
You do that though, right? If you're Phoenix, right? Early, right?
But you have
it's 51 million.
You have to eat that though. It's like it sounds good because he's not on your roster, but you're paying that though. That's the only thing.
I mean,
110.
But still, because you gotta somehow, some way, right?
No, I throw him out there. I throw him out there, and let him hurt his. If he plays well, then fine. I know I'm not going to re-sign him for a contract, but he'll hurt himself. I'm getting every penny out of $55 million.
Right. I'm thinking if I'm Phoenix, if you went out so bad, then waive the trade clause. Like, I'm gonna trade you then. I'm gonna get something for you, not just pay you to do nothing.
It's funny you talk about that. The only two people. It's like, just leave. I mean, him and LeBron, the only ones that have the no shit. Waive it. Just go.
But for him with trading, with him waiving the no trade clause,
right?
Is there even a market for him? Because, hey, to your point, you're gonna have to match that money up in the trade. Hey, you're gonna have to get $55 million.
It sounds. You have to find someone who was dumb as you was. That's what it is.
Or right at the precipice of getting some. All right, let's just say, because I think Jordan Clarkson is going to be yuck in New York. But if you in New York and say, all right, I'll go up under a second umbrella, and I mean, he's serviceable enough to guard for Brunson to have to be. Right. I would bring him to the Knicks for 2 years. Heavy price tag. That's super top heavy. I get it, but something like that, I would do. In a 1 year, it looks better.
But if you're the Knicks, you have to give up so much to get.
No, I'm saying if. Oh yeah, you talk about trade. I mean, you never know if they're trying to get him off. Maybe you could work other teams in where you might not have to give too much, and they're just probably like, let's give me some picks and cash considerations down the line, you know, or we might pay some of it for you to take him on during the trade. You know what I mean? Just to get that albatross off your payroll. It's a lot of things that Phoenix could do or work with that, but it just, where does he want to go? That's the problem. I'm sure they could have found some way to trade him, but that leaves you to your man.
What you say?
And then that leaves you to your man, LeBron. Right?
LeBron,
he's not happy. When is he happy?
And I know that's been the narrative in the media, but is that his reality? You know what I mean? Like, do we think that he's really unhappy with being on the Lakers at this time?
I don't know. I mean, allegedly, Rich Paul was saying that he wants a championship team.
He wants to be able to contend for a championship team, but recognizes that, you know, the Lakers may be, you know, building for the future.
But they have
but
they have a 5-time first team on their team. They're not rebuilding anything. They have one of the top 5 players in the league. And him. That's not rebuild. Find a way to make it work.
Yeah, they have actually good starting.
Yes.
Like
Luka,
Reeves, LeBron, 8. And I was trying to like, who's the 4th?
Rui?
It's Rui.
Rui's a good team.
He's good. So they have a good team. Would I pick them for the championship? No, but they have a good team. So, you know, put it this way, Giannis would love to be switch places with you. Put it that way.
All right. Let me ask the question you just answered a little bit, but I'll ask it out loud. Do they have a team that could contend for a championship? Could be right there, Western Conference Finals and Finals?
I think second round is their ceiling.
Do I think they're gonna win? No, but having Luka, Ayton, and the other players around, you should have a chance to be beating these teams.
Where do you have them going? How far?
I'm not a fan. I got postseason. Then they did a good job.
What round? Oh
no, I don't care if they get knocked out the first round. They make the playoffs. I'm fine with it.
Wow.
They need to start rebuilding now. Like these teams are getting early jumps on them.
All right. It sounds like you're on the they need to trade LeBron train. Where you trading them to?
Where does he want to go? I mean, he wants to go to Golden State. He wants to go to Cleveland. I'll find something out of there.
Any particular team that you would want the Lakers to trade with over the other?
No.
Because of the assets that you may be able to get back?
Nope.
P?
Nope. Cleveland, I think, would be good. Because if I could get Mobley or Jared Allen back, that would solve some issues for the Lakers.
Okay.
You got $52 million to add up to, though. So you still need a couple more.
Yeah, so say you get Jared Allen and some other talent from Cleveland. You would have to. I would look at talented teams in the East. Like I wouldn't trade them to Golden State or someone in the West because I'm going to have to end up seeing them. You know, so yeah, I would trade them to a talented team in the East if I could.
Allen and
I'll take
the
Allen
other guard
and Garland. Yeah.
Well, help me out if you know anything about more talent than that. I mean, besides the 4, I don't.
Yeah.
Cleveland over the Chiefs for me. I wouldn't.
I'm excited. I doubt if they give up Mobley.
Right.
Like, in
And
a
not
perfect
giving up
world from the
Donovan.
Lakers, I get Allen and Mobley as a steal.
Okay. Hey guys, have you been paying attention to the free agency trade market? What's been going on in the NBA offseason? Hit us up on social media. Let us know. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to the podcast. And you can hit us up directly at WeNeeda5th@gmail.com.
Give me any of the forwards. Give me Bridges and Mitch and Deuce. I'm fine with that. That should give me $52 million. Or give me OG, Mitch, and Deuce. You can have LeBron do what they want, Cat and Brunson.
Knicks would
That's
not
fine.
be a bad trade partner. Yeah,
I'm
agree.
good.
Like I said, an East team with talent, Cleveland and the Knicks.
I'm good.
I agree with that.
Return him, reunite him with his old coach, Mike Brown.
Yeah, and he went in New York where he wants to play and under the lights.
Hills was trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, no.
Hills was trying to sell LeBron on anything.
Absolutely.
If it was in Alaska,
Absolutely.
it's one of the 50 states.
Northern Lights. You can
Northern Lights?
You can see the Northern Lights.
Oh man.
Oh, since we started on LeBron, let's continue on this track. LeBron recently, maybe about a month ago now, he's doing a podcast with Steve Nash.
No more JJ?
No more JJ.
Great
Okay.
Steve Nash, everybody. Beautiful mind, but
No,
beautiful mind. It's a whole movie. Anyway. Yeah, very good.
Very
For the
good.
record.
Two-time MVP,
Wrong.
Steve.
Wrong.
MVP.
Good play, though. Good play.
He gave you 35? What happened? Yep, but go ahead.
But they
And
were
shit.
doing a show where they were answering questions from their fans, and one of the fans was like asked them, "Why is the NBA above all other sports seem more ring culture or ring, where greatness is tied to having rings than any other sport?" LeBron's answer was he didn't know, for lack of a better term, but he felt that it was ridiculous that, hey, greatness is tied to having a ring, where, hey, getting that championship is a team achievement. It meant that, hey, you had the best team or greatest team of that.
Oh,
that
we
year,
know.
that year.
I agree with him there. For his team got him a chip. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Ray Allen. Thank you, Kyrie. Couldn't agree with you more.
And it shouldn't take away from what people have done individually, and he's like, hey, you can't tell me that AI is not great, or Karl Malone
I can.
or Charles Barkley.
I can.
So I guess my first question: do you have to win a championship in order to be considered great?
We talked about this. I think you have one, right? One person where it could be a cog in our theory, right? That's Elge. Right. And people out there look up Elgin Baylor's stats. They're insane.
Or to add another one to it, Pistol Pete. Because
No, Elgin Baylor. That's the only one I'm doing. If you want,
because Pistol Pete had a couple of seasons where he was averaging, I think, close to 40 points a game, and hitting them with multiple assists. And this is during the era where there was no 3-point shot.
you got to see how long Elgin did it. He did it for us, damn near his entire career, minus the 2 early years that he, from his rookie and the second year. After that, it was blown out the water. It's just Elgin for me.
Okay.
After that, I believe hardware has to be brought into the subject. I mean, what are we doing it for? Championships do play a part in greatness. Now, how we work that out, I think determines my definition of great, but it does play a part in it, though. So I disagree with him. I think you do need it for starters.
Okay. P?
Going back to like the ring culture thing, for quarterbacks, I think it's the same thing, right? Like Montana, like Brady's the GOAT. Well, that's the first time I ever said that. I'm a Montana guy, but I think Brady was pretty much widely recognized as the GOAT once he got more rings than Montana. Mm-hmm. So I think in football, but only for quarterbacks. I don't think it really counts for running backs and wide receivers. For quarterbacks, I think they're held to that standard. And I think the reason for great basketball players and great quarterbacks is because you have such an impact on the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much Barry Bonds could do. We know how
great.
To me, Barry Bonds is great. Period. I don't know how you don't call Griffey is great, but if they walk you 4 times, there's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's why I think people judge people on rings in basketball, because I think a great player in basketball can impact winning that much. For me, I think if you don't have a ring, you're not great. Period. No exceptions. Elgin Baylor's right there at the door. He doesn't get in, but he's right there. A few others. But I mean that's the point, is to win a championship. And I think your numbers should be a byproduct of winning and not the other way around.
And I think there's this misconception that there has to be equality with greatness. You know what I mean? Like everybody has to be equal, equally great. It's like there's a reason why we have greatness. You know what I mean? And it has to be exclusive. It has to be hard to get to. Something that very few can accomplish. And I think part of to both of you guys' point that being part of the solution for a championship winning team is part of greatness, and demonstrates that greatness on the highest possible level, and I think to P's point that basketball is unique in most of the sports played in this country, in the sense that players have the opportunity to affect both offense and defense side of the ball, can impact on both offense and defensive side of the ball. Now, lately it seems like the NBA is getting more specialized people where, hey, you got guys keying in on offense or keying in on defense or whatnot. But in basketball is unique in the sense that, hey, every player that hits the court has an opportunity to affect both offense and defense. I think for that reason, because you can have such an impact on the game as an individual, achieving a championship has to be part of the resume if you're talking about greatness.
Sure. I mean, I look at it as you take away championships and you say, like, the best pure shooter that I've seen is probably Steph Curry or Ray Allen or Reggie Miller or I like Mark Price. Curry doesn't have a championship. He fits into these lanes where you can say, not Ray Allen, but like Curry might be the best pure shooter, and it's like, okay, he could be. You might see him as even Michael Adams if he doesn't have championships. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a really great shooter.
Becomes Mark Price,
but a great player. You wouldn't do that. If Mark Price has a championship,
different story.
It matters.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think Steph Curry is a healthier Mark Price. He's a better shooter, but that's actually you said that's a pretty good comp. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have the championship. So Steph Curry is where he is, and Mark Price is where he is. But to your point, skill set relatively close.
I actually thought Mark Price handled the ball better. than Steph Curry, and attack defense is much better, and he was fearless going to the rim. But we don't even look at him in the same stratosphere because of Curry's success. I mean, so championships have to mean something. It just puts you with everyone else if you don't have it. Fair or not fair, it is what it is.
And I think the ring culture in NBA started with some NBA legends, Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain kept on putting up monster numbers, and I think at one point people were asking Bill, "Oh, what do you think about him putting up those ones?" Oh, that's great, but he ain't gonna win no championships, And that was Bill Russell's thing. It's like, hey, you can put up these monster numbers, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes for your impact not to impact our chances of winning. You know what I mean?
But I think then it was winning, and not so much rings. I think the media played a part into the whole ring culture, and I was fine with it because it gave us something to talk about, and now I had something that I can compare people to. Let's face it, no matter what road this man takes, it's him. That's it. How can I get to Jordan? I can't do it. 50,000 points, it's not enough for people. 6-0, not having to worry about how I'm going to play in a Game 7. I don't play those. You're not going to be him. There's nothing wrong with being number 2 in some people's eyes. But now you're going to try to change the narrative on why you don't feel like now you're going to bring other people in to build you up. Now, I'm not going to accept Barkley and Malone to make you go up to Michael Jordan. No, it's not happening. No. You don't have enough championships. You have way more losses. You're not better. It's a lot of things I can go on and on for.
So,
then you're a hypocrite by saying that because now you're looking, and every time you've been looking for a championship team. Play. You're a championship talent. You said you don't need to build a team up. And why do people, so caught up on rings? Just play for the love of it then.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's a little hypocritical because he made a statement ways back saying I'm chasing that ghost in Chicago, right? So what happened to that? You know what I mean? Like he gave up the chase. So LeBron's a great player. Great. Yeah, that's the irony of it all. Like he's solidified. He has championships, so he's a great player. So ring culture doesn't really hurt him. Only, like he was saying, only in that debate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason ring culture would hurt him.
Yeah, and sensitivity. That other parts of the interview was, I even watch people say, and people telling that they're saying like, "Yo, I don't have a bag." You don't. But how you listen again? How we get to where we are, it shouldn't matter. Like Karl Malone didn't have a bag, and he was the all-time leading scorer at one point. No, second.
Yeah, but he was top 2.
Right, top 2. Right. So no one cared how you got it done as long as you got it done. Now you're the all-time leading scorer. No, it's north-south with force. So what? But they're not wrong, and I double down on it. You don't have a bag. We see it.
And that's interesting. I know we're talking about rings, but I don't know if you guys saw like Paul Pierce threw his hat in the ring as one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Yeah.
And
stop.
I mean, he's top. I think he's top 20 total points. So he's in. He's not the greatest, but he is one of the best scorers in NBA history.
Stop.
Shout out to Gil too. Shout out to Gil and shout out to Brandon Jennings. It was like, nah, fam, he don't have it back. like LeBron don't have it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but so what?
Yeah, I say that because he has the most points.
Definitely
Solidified. I'm not sure if many people think that he's the best scorer in the history of the NBA.
And he was talking about, and again with the demons, I never saw anyone do it better than or like all around than than this man right here with Kevin Durant. He's your contemporary, and you're gonna massage him. I get it, but no, Durant was not better than Jordan, and Durant was not better than Kobe. And I love Durant, but no, he wasn't. Pure in what he does, excellent. Durant is a wonderful player, but he's Iceman Gervin had not been played for Golden State. So you're able to talk to him like that because he joined Golden State. Now, he helped them win, but I compare him to salt, like in a recipe. Like too much of if Durant's gonna be your main ingredient, you're gonna have high blood pressure and a heart attack. You're gonna die. But if you put him in a recipe where you have garlic, oregano, Italian seasoning, and you just need a sprinkle of Kevin Durant, it enhances the flavor. Salt's supposed to enhance. You're not supposed to live off of it. It's to enhance. That's Kevin Durant for me. And he's, again, so for them waxing poetic against each other, it just seemed foolish what they were doing. You're not better than Jordan. You're an excellent player, but it's because, and this is just fact. I mean, I've seen Durant doing those. Listen, how long we're gonna play this? We're gonna do Houston now? We're gonna keep trying. He's not with pushovers here.
I like the analogy. Wow.
You can't live off them. You die.
Yeah, but it's an essential salt. You have to have it in your diet.
Oh, sprinkle. Its salt should enhance. It should enhance it. Some things don't need. Some dishes don't need salt. Some get done.
Some are good without
it. So,
some meals are good without it.
So it's LeBron being LeBron. I think the winners in all of this is, and I think they should embrace it, is the discussion. We were able to see, luckily enough to see, Michael Jordan. We were able to see LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kobe, Shaq, all these people in their primes. So it's harder for me to have a debate with someone, say, 20, 25 years younger than me, and trying to explain it on why this is with LeBron James. I get it. I mean, when LeBron, an immature me, 15, 20 years ago, was in the Applebee's with you guys, and I was saying he's better than Bird now without even playing the game. You know what I mean? Me now, knowing what I watch with Larry Bird, he's better than Larry Bird, but Larry Bird's no slouch. You know what I mean? So, catch you on an off day in their primes, I might go Larry, depending on who I'm playing with. So, that's growth. That's age. I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying things. So, for these kids, I won't be surprised to get these LeBron things as opposed to, knock of getting a Jim Jones quote. You know what I mean? It's similar to that. Like,
very similar.
That did not age well for Jimmy.
And no offense to LeBron, it's not that extreme, but in my eyes, being a big Magic fan, Laker fan, my love for Michael Jordan is just, and it's not being a Jordan sycophant when I'm not looking at the qualities. I'm dissecting people's games. Like, I'm a stickler to a point where I shouldn't be. LeBron's an all-time great player. And I can honestly say, like, I don't get it. I don't see how. And that's terrible of me. Well, I get it. No, because he's dominant and he's great. I do get it. I don't like it because it's not aesthetically pleasing to me. And for how long is he doing it? I'm not a fan of his game. You know what I mean? And as pure as KD plays, I cringe when he has to put it on the ground. So, and again, people will say you're bugging. They both have hands. Then I'm not looking at the same. We're not looking through the same lenses when I'm watching basketball. And then there's no knock to them, and it is, but I don't know.
When talking about what the parameters of being great should be considered. Say they need to have a championship ring. Are we putting in these stat ceilings or floors?
20 and 10 for me.
That has
20,
to be
find
20.
a way to get there. 20 and 10.
Has
20, 10, 20-point a game seasons.
10 of them, yeah.
Yep. For me, championships, obviously, and I look at it's weird because you look at totals. Sometimes it can get a little weird because longevity plays a part. I think Robert Parrish has more points than Bird and Dwayne Wade. So totals is a little I don't know. So I usually go by like the averages, and I kind of look at it like if I strip away your championships. Are you on the same level as a Barkley, Elgin Baylor? You know what I mean? Like, if I strip away your championships and your numbers are like mediocre, then even with I still might not think you're great. You know what I mean? You could have 5 championships, but if you average 15 a game, obviously, depends what else you bring to the table.
Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like Scottie Pippen. I don't think he's a great. I don't consider him great, although he has 6 championships. He's probably right there for different reasons, but he's like right there with Elgin Baylor. You know what I mean? For a completely different reason.
So how would you view a player like Dennis Rodman?
No.
Even though the rebounds, like
great rebounder, great defender. I cause put this in a great play. I feel you could build your team around him. I don't think you can't. No one's ever built their team around Dennis Rodman. He's a great role player, I believe. He's a great rebounder. He's a great defensive player. They're taking them away from him. But
he couldn't get into your Hall of
if
Fame.
Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe are great, Dennis Rodman? Nah.
I mean, for rebound, and that's, I think, one of the things that we talked about off air and that we conflict with is like, hey, we have to give some weight and credit to other statistics besides the offensive statistics.
Then you got Nate Thurman.
And that's why Bill Russell's great. Bill Russell, to me, is like he actually, I think he averages 2 times as much as rebounds as Dennis Rodman. And he has over 2 times as much as champions. Like, to me, I understand. I'm an offensive guy, but Bill Russell is not in because of offense. I think he's great because of I think he's the greatest defensive player of all time, in my opinion.
Who are you going to put Nate Thurman and Dale Davis and Kevin Willis?
Nowhere.
I mean, he's rebounding.
Yeah, and I
Rebounding
don't.
guys, you know what I mean? So.
And to be fair, and I think sometime, Will Chamberlain's probably the second best rebounder. I think his offense overshadows that, but statistically he's a better rebounder than Dennis Rodman. I think Will Chamberlain's a great player. Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson are excellent rebounders.
Barkley.
I think they're great players. They won championships. Barkley's a great rebounder, but he doesn't have a ring. So, I do count rebounding, but I think sometimes great rebounders like Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson aren't looked at as great rebounders because of their offensive capability.
Stockton has steals and assists.
I don't think he's a great player. No, if he had a championship, he would.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I think, like, with Rodman, the reason why I bring him up is, hey, he has the championships. But I think outside of, hey, Russell and Wilt, the other players you name, hey, his rebounds are either at their level or higher.
Well, okay, Kareem. I think Kareem was third all time in rebounds. I guess I'm saying.
And I think that makes my point even more. Is like, hey, the players that you're saying that are better rebounders than him are centers, and he's a power forward.
That's not my problem. You know what I mean? That's like saying, oh, the only reason Shaq does what he does because he's 7 feet, 330 pounds. Okay, so are we going to say he's better than Kyrie? We know Kyrie's more skilled, right?
But when it comes to rebounding, I think, hey, you do have to consider, hey, what he was able to do at the clip he was able to do it, and the fact that, like I said, most of the players that you're naming that has better rebounding numbers than him are centers.
Okay. Well, Barkley has as good or if not better. I don't think Barkley's great.
And I'll give you a guy who trifected it with rebounds, assists, and points is where you have Russell Westbrook.
Really good player.
No, it's not.
But he doesn't have a ring, so he's not even in the conversation.
Oh no, he's saying he's going the opposite direction.
Oh yeah.
He's going not even really good. There's a lot of talented players that haven't got championships. Like I think James Harden, if he had a championship,
great.
I would consider him a great player, but he doesn't.
McGrady didn't do it long enough. He got a championship. He was great.
Who?
McGrady. It's a time frame too, right?
Yeah. I think in the time that he was playing, if he was able to get a championship during that era, with what he was working with and who he would have had to go through to get that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was working with Yao.
Yeah, but he would have had to go through Kobe and Shaq.
Oh, that's what makes you great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, if he would have gotten the ring during that era, going through who he would have had to go through, working with what he was working with,
and
it
easily depends what you did. You know what I mean? Like Mitch Richmond, if you look at statistically, 20,000 points, 20 a game, but his ring is not. Not all rings, you put them on a scale, they all don't weigh the same. You know what I mean? Same thing with Gary Payton. His ring don't weigh the same as Shea's. You know what I mean? They both got a championship. Put them on a scale, those rings don't weigh the same for me. For me.
And 9 times out of 10, for me, great players stop people from becoming great.
Yeah, great players beat really good players.
They stop them from being. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, to me, that's simple. Like, let's not go on a high scale when we're saying Barkley and Malone. Mm-hmm. Let's just say what would life look like differently if Sacramento had a 2 championship? What would you think about Chris Webber?
What would
you think about Bibby?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What would you think about
Jason Williams?
No, what do you think about Portland?
Mm.
What do you think about Rasheed Wallace with a championship? You know what I mean? With 2.
Or Pippen with the 7th.
Drexler. You know what I mean? Barkley. Like, if you stop people from Reggie Miller, you know, Pat Ewing, because they have the numbers. Yeah. Those are the great players. They stop people from becoming great. Yeah. And I think it's a minute amount of people that do
that. And to my earlier point, I think greatness, everybody can't be great. Everybody can be good, you know, and most of the people could be really good, but everybody can't be great. And I think we got to get to that point where, hey, it's okay to be really good. You know,
everybody don't need a trophy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, so the Hall of Fame is way different from what how our criteria, and we're hashing it out to get it. But I tell you this much: we don't need that big of a place. Not that much square feet. We're gonna need to put it, you know, that many busts in our Hall of Greats.
Yeah. It might not even hit 75.
75, my
God. I think that's being nice.
75 is what Mo said. That's a huge number for me.
Yeah, I think I'll say let's make room for 50, and that's for the future. That's for the future. That's for
open space.
That's for Shea, Giannis, and Joker because they're not in yet. So give me 50, and I'll have space for the future guys. Whew. I've seen that 75 list. I don't want to like, you know. Yeah, someone who's 75. I don't get it.
No,
I don't get it.
That's a tough crowd, man.
But you need to be.
Yeah. Hey, we talking about greatness, right?
Yeah, you spending that. Listen, I'm gonna make that trip, and I think we all should, maybe together. I don't want Springfield to be a waste of money or a frustrating trip going in there. You know what I mean? So
it would frustrate
me. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh God, it would frustrate me.
I'm sure, but
Pitt Wallace.
And it won't stop there.
Oh man! Wow. This has been an interesting discussion, fellas. Hey, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys think. What determines a great basketball player, a great NBA basketball player? Hit us up on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can hit us up directly at WeNeeda5th@gmail.com. Fellas, what's on the radar?
For me, this date in 1975, 50 years ago to this day, Arthur Ashe became the first black man to win Wimbledon, beating Jimmy Connors in the finals. If you don't know, Google Arthur Ashe, great humanitarian, great tennis player, made an incredible social impact while he was here. I believe he passed away. We lost him like in 1993. Also won the Australian Open and the U.S. Open. So that's definitely on my radar. You never want to forget people who blazed the trail for people like the Williams sisters, Coco Gauff. Without him, there's no those guys. So just wanted to bring that to people's attention. Just like one of the greatest tennis players of all time, but his impact supersedes his play on the tennis court. So rest in peace to the late great Arthur Ashe.
Yep.
Fun fact: 10 years after that, in '85, Malik and I fought for national championships in Arthur Ashe Stadium in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
Back in 1985.
Nice.
So
nice, definitely.
just to piggyback off of that. For me, it's going to be Summer League. I want to see what let the chips fly. I want to see what these young kids got to offer.
Yeah, Edgecombe and Ace
Let's
square
do
off.
it. Young Oladipo.
Yeah.
Young
Good comp.
Oladipo.
I'm with that comp.
Oladipo.
I'm with that comp.
For me, it's Summer League. Also, I'm watching what WNBA is doing with their collective bargaining agreement. They're currently in negotiations. Seems like it's going a little rough right now. I hope the WNBA does right by the players. I hope the players are able to get whatever they need to be made whole, and so that we don't get any interruptions in next season or this season. To all our fifths out there, thank you. Stay safe. Peace.
Peace.